Hey everyone, I thought I'd do a quick Bitcoin update. Bitcoin's chilling at about 65,500, that's 65.5 right now. Of course, it's been up as high as 70, low 70,000s recently. So of course, inevitably people are wondering, is something wrong with Bitcoin? Just a reminder, nothing's ever wrong with Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be just fine. Just be glad that we are in 2024 and the ups and down swings are, 5, 10, or at most 12 or 13% and not 20, 30, 40% like they used to be in the early stages. So why does Bitcoin go up and down? Well, because there's 8 billion people in the world that are all trying to figure out how big a deal Bitcoin is. It's called price discovery. It's the same way with Amazon or Apple stock or Tesla, that people are trying to figure out for a series of years or even decades. How big a deal is online commerce? How big a deal is electric cars? How big a deal is consumer electronics? And everybody's trying to figure that out. And so it's called price discovery, where one day everybody's like, ooh, it's a huge deal. We should all buy Tesla, Amazon, Apple stock. The next day everybody's like, oh no, maybe we're not going to buy things online. Maybe we're not going to drive electric cars. Maybe the iPhone won't work out after all. And so the price goes down and the price goes up. And so the same thing happens with Bitcoin. You only have a tiny fraction of 1% of the world's population that is as all in on Bitcoin as someone like me. So someone like me is not altering the price on a daily basis because I'm basically all in. So I'm not selling Bitcoin, but I also don't really have any meaningful fiat currency to buy more Bitcoin because it's already in Bitcoin. So as people get more fully committed to the technology, they don't move the price anymore because they're not buying and selling in and out of it. Versus people who are new to Bitcoin, a lot of them get in Bitcoin, then they panic and then they sell, and you get very much of a sort of a crowd mentality. So anyway, nothing's wrong with Bitcoin. It's just doing what Amazon or Apple or Facebook or Tesla stock does and has done for years and decades. And again, just be thankful that the ups and downs are relatively minor compared to historical ups and downs. And again, all of it is just related to there's 8 billion people in the world. A tiny, tiny percentage of them are regular or all in committed to Bitcoin. That leaves 99% of the world's population trying to figure out how much Bitcoin they should buy. And anyway, so it just causes the price to go up and down. Also, it's a 24/7 asset. So people around the world are trading Bitcoin all the time. So, the price can change at 2 in the morning and you're probably wondering what happened at 2 in the morning. Well, it's the middle of the day in Asia somewhere. And who knows, a billionaire woke up on the wrong side of bed and decided to sell $1 billion of Bitcoin somewhere in Asia. It's a worldwide currency. Again, an asset like gold that's been around 5,000 years, when a billionaire wakes up in Asia and sells $1 billion of gold, it does not move the price much because the size of the gold market is about 14 trillion as compared to the size of the Bitcoin market, which is about 1.4 trillion, something like 10% as large. So obviously it takes a lot more to move the gold market than it does to move the Bitcoin market. The Bitcoin market is still tiny compared to gold and tiny compared to what I believe it will be when Bitcoin is the new monetary system of the world. So Bitcoin's just fine. It's done this for 15 years, and just be thankful that the ups and downs are a lot smaller than they used to be. So what should you do if Bitcoin's doing what it's doing right now? One, buy as much Bitcoin as you could possibly afford. Everybody wants the dip until it comes, and then they freak out and they don't want the dip. People tend to have high conviction. So when the price was 72 or 73,000 a coin, lots of people were sitting around saying, as soon as the price comes down, I'm really going to buy a lot of Bitcoin. I'm super committed this time. I get it. I went through the dip, a few weeks ago, and I'm committed this time. As soon as the price comes down, I'm buying. Well, then the price actually does come down and they're like, uh-oh, maybe there's something wrong with Bitcoin. I better wait for a bigger dip, or I better wait for the next dip. And of course, those people, they miss out, and that's just the way the world's always worked. Those people never buy. They're always waiting for the next dip, or they're always waiting for a bigger dip. And then when the price recovers, they're always disappointed they didn't buy when they, quote, knew they should have. And they remember that they were going to buy, and they thought about buying, but then they didn't pull the trigger. And then anyway, that's just human nature. It's human nature. It's not unique to Bitcoin. It's human nature for any asset that goes up and down, is people regret when they didn't buy when it was down. So I continue to believe now is a fantastic time to buy Bitcoin, and it's as strong as it's ever been. The worldwide adoption is the highest it's ever been, like all the fundamentals that drive Bitcoin's long-term adoption are the strongest they've ever been in human history. It's just the price goes up and down on a daily basis, and it's still higher than it was like 10 days ago. So another stat I saw on X today was that 85% of all of the upside of Bitcoin happens in an average of 13 trading days in a year. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just sit on the sidelines and watch this, again, 85% of the gains happen in an average of 13 days out of 365. So, you do not want to miss those upswings, and the only way to capture those upswings are to be in the market when those upswings happen, meaning sitting on as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. So step number 1 is buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. 2, when you have enough Bitcoin to matter, buy Bitkey. Bitkey.world is the web address. It's called the hardware wallet, and it's a way for you to secure your Bitcoin in a way that even if your Coinbase account gets hacked, there's no way the hackers can get your Bitcoin. It's super slick, it's super consumer friendly, and it's the first time in 15 years that there's a Bitcoin hardware wallet I actually felt good about recommending to people. Prior to now, I've never recommended Bitcoin hardware wallets because they were too complicated and too technical. The company behind Bitkey is Square, also known as Block. They changed their name from Square to Block, but they do payment terminals. The company is founded and run by Jack Dorsey, the former founder and CEO of Twitter, now X. So anyway, great company, great products. The products is just brilliantly simple. There's basically no way to screw it up, and there's no way to lose your Bitcoin, and there's no way for a hacker to get it either unless you totally botch it. So highly recommend step 1, buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. Step 2, get whatever you're not planning on spending with the Bitcoin debit card or something like that, or whatever you're not planning on spending or you don't plan to need liquid in the near term. Move it over to Bitkey. It'll keep it safe for you and make sure nothing bad happens to it. And then just ride it out. And the next things that will probably happen is sometime in the next weeks or months, but probably weeks, there will be some news story about some company that has Bitcoin on the balance sheet, or the mood in the marketplace will shift when there's 8 billion people in the world. It does not take very much to shift the mood of the market, and suddenly the mood is everybody's excited and everybody's certain that Bitcoin is the future monetary system of the world, and the adoption goes from 1% to 1.5% or whatever, and suddenly the price goes way up and everybody's singing in jubilation about how genius they are for buying so much Bitcoin. And again, all the people that were waiting for a dip or waiting for a bigger dip or just could never get past their cold feet to buy, well, they're all sitting thinking, wow, I wish I had bought more. I wish I had enough to matter. I wish I had enough to, affect my net worth. So anyway, step 1, buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. Step 2, get a Bitkey device and move as much of it as you don't plan to use over there. And then, the optional bonus step is if you want to use the Bitcoin debit card, it is pretty magical to be able to spend Bitcoin. And obviously you want to buy extra Bitcoin to use with that. You don't want to just burn down your one and only Bitcoin stash. If you're planning on spending Bitcoin, I would buy extra Bitcoin for that purpose rather than just whatever Bitcoin you happen to already own. So that's my recommendation. Bitcoin's the strongest it's ever been. Things are awesome in the world of Bitcoin right now, and I read every news headline, I read every story, I follow it on Twitter multiple times a day. So if there was something wrong in the Bitcoin world, I would know about it. Nothing is wrong in the Bitcoin world. Everything is fine in the Bitcoin world. It's the strongest it's ever been. And again, at some point we'll hit new all-time highs. Hopefully that'll be in the near term. And anyway, so just having fun stockpiling as much as I can and waiting for the upward turn. And just remember, the all-time high in Bitcoin was this month. So it's not like it's been very long. And also, for the first time since 2012, Bitcoin ended 7 consecutive months of upmarket, as in every month for the 7 consecutive months now, the month has ended higher than it ever has in history. Also, as of the end of the month, which was 2 days ago, literally 48 hours ago, it was the highest month-end close it's ever had, the highest quarterly end close it's ever had, and there was one other record it set at at midnight on March 31st of sort of highest. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Call me, text me, email me, the same phone number I post on my posts where you can text me to get free Bitcoin. You're also welcome to text me questions or use Facebook Messenger. Just remember, there's scammers everywhere. There's scammers that comment on my posts regularly. So if you're interacting with somebody on Facebook Messenger, just make sure it's the real me and not a scammer. And the best way to know is just, I'm never going to ask you for Bitcoin. I'm never going to ask you to, I don't have some Bitcoin trading strategy. I'm only ever going to recommend that you stockpile Bitcoin and sit on it, not that you ever send it to me. I'm never going to post some address telling you send your Bitcoin here. Like, all of that is scam. So anyway, so let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer them on Facebook Messenger or text me or whatever. And I'm here to serve, here to help you, and hopefully get you in a place where you're on your Bitcoin journey, where when the price takes off and, does all the things that we all think it's going to do, you're really glad you bought a bunch of Bitcoin already, not wishing you had gotten off the sidelines. So let me know if I can help you in that journey. I'm here to serve. Have a great night.